Good evening, everybody. My name's Tom Stoukas, coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario, on July 28th, Monday, July 28th. Summer's almost over, or half over, I guess. Um, Pretty hot today. I was working, my brain, boiling my brains in the hot kitchen, but I made it through alive. All right. The main thing I want to talk about today is our Premier, Doug Ford. I don't know. We have to look. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's the heat. I blame the heat. We have to look at Doug Ford. Like, what's the deal with this guy? Is he drinking or something? Because he caused quite the brouhaha last week. He was at they had the Council of the Federation meeting. It sounds like Star Trek, but it's really they're way stupider. And then, so they were at this Council of the Federation, and he started spouting the main idea of this meeting, 3-day meeting of the premiers, was to talk about the tariff and the trade war with the U.S. And for some reason, he started spouting off on asylum seekers in Ontario and how they're piling up, and it's how expensive it is for the province, and then he went a step further and he's like, we got to give them work permits, and we're going to do it ourselves if the federal government doesn't want to do it. So it was the weirdest thing, and right away, like, the reaction is like instant, like, what the hell, man? It's like, we're trying to get rid of these guys and you want to give them work permits, and it's so crazy. Anyway, today he comes out and saying he's not going to issue work permits direct, like usually it's a federal thing to deal with the asylum people, and he's not going to go issue work permits, he says, but he still wants the federal government to get him processed quicker so they can get working. And he said today, if the asylum seekers have a pulse and they're healthy, they need to start working here. It's like, we're trying to get rid of them. Like, instead you're inviting an endless stream of asylum seekers. It's crazy. This guy's a dummy. Like, is he drunk? Is he drinking all his dollar beers? Because if you start issuing work permits to asylum seekers like fast, the other people that want to come to Canada but don't want to do the immigration process will come here, claim asylum, get the work permit, and then, make themselves so they can't get deported. I don't know. The point is, our leadership is so out of touch because Doug Ford or the province and the federal government are arguing with each other about how fast they can process the applications. Ford wants to do it quicker, and the government, is saying, "Oh, we're doing it quick." He doesn't know what he's talking about. So they're basically arguing how quick they can bring more people in, when most Canadians are like, we need to deport people and remigrate people and discourage people from coming here. But no, our government is arguing who's better at bringing them here. So there's a big disconnect between the people, which, polls are showing people do not want this mass migration, third world style policy, yet our politicians keep doing it. It's crazy. They're so out of touch, and, ignore it at your peril, politicians. So, like, basically Doug Ford has shown this week, and your MPPs, any Conservatives, my MPP's Bob Bailey, useless guy. Unlike Randy Hillier, this guy has no morals, no principles. So anyway, basically the PC party wants unfettered immigration into Canada as long as they're healthy and they'll work and they'll pay taxes. So they don't care who they import. So basically, they've shown their cards. They said the federal government, the Liberals, have they've already been quite clear. They have no problem importing millions and millions of people because they like to vote Liberal, and they're a globalist party that, and like I said, our Canadian oligarchs love more customers, so they don't care where they come from. So we know the Liberals are pro immigration. We know the NDP pro. Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives, they wanted to slow down immigration for a couple years for things to catch up, right? So, um, and then you got Doug Ford in Ontario, who has no problem filling Ontario up with immigrants. He just wants them to get to be working, which don't get me even started on the work permit. If they started giving, apparently they give asylum seekers work permits, the federal government. I didn't know that. So I guess, they figure, oh, he's going to be sitting around 3 years and might as well start working. So that's how they get here to Canada and they stay here. But Doug Ford wants to give them work permits. He wants them to get in. I don't understand. I didn't know Ontario was this booming economy that we had all these workers we need to keep. And this isn't just a one-time thing. This will be a constant thing. The asylum thing, if anything, is only going to get keep going because we're one of the few countries in Europe that takes it. But doors are starting to shut in other countries, and we'll be the only one with the door open. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, basically all the major political players, and even Danielle Smith in Alberta, she's totally like she's panders to the ethnic ridings and whatever, just like any of the politicians in Alberta. Alberta's taken over if you look at the Edmonton and Calgary. So basically the politicians have already said this is the window we can discuss. Maybe we'll have like a little reduction here and there, and we'll build tons more housing. That's their issue. That's their stance. And even just like the last election that we just had, mass immigration was barely mentioned by the political parties and the media. Meanwhile, on the internet, that's all we wanted to talk about. And so it's so weird. And disconnect at your own peril. That's what I say. But like I said, the last election, they didn't even talk about it. And during this Council of the Federation, they didn't barely talk about it. And when they did talk about it, it was to bring more people or more faster. So I don't know what to say about these people. We've got to start calling them out. Like when we see them and say, hey man, what's the deal? I don't want to turn Ontario into a third world country. And that's what you're doing. Sorry. The thing I have an issue with in Canada is, unlike the U.S., where the people, they came through the open border, the southern border with Mexico. And the reason, that was a deliberate thing. Like, they let them in. Trump's basically shut a lot of it down. In Canada, they don't come through the southern border or through a land border. They fly in. Most of our asylum cases fly into Pearson or Airport. And the minute they talk to a customs person, they say, I'm request asylum. And the minute they say those words, they're in the system. So if they don't some of them have relatives here. Some of them don't. So those ones will go in the hotels, which we're spending billions of dollars on. And Doug Ford said to give them permits. What happens if there's a family? So you give one guy a permit and you still got to support the 8 other people. Anyway, the point is they fly in and then they say the magic words and then they're in the system for years. And a lot of refugees, a good percentage of them probably stay here. I don't know. Or who knows? I don't know what to believe. But why are they allowed to board the plane at the point of departure? Like, unless they have a visa, like a tourist visa, or they just bought the ticket and without a visa, and they knew they were just going to claim asylum. Why do we let them, like, we can put a directive to the airline saying unless they have a valid visa for Canada, or if they're not a Canadian citizen and they don't have a valid visa, then they can't come, or they're not on our visa travel list, like visa free travel. Anyway, they can figure it out. But right now, they can fly in and say, I want to request asylum, and by international law, we have to accept them. A lot of countries won't let that happen. They'll stop them at the point of departure and say, yeah, you're not coming here without a visa or a valid reason. So yeah, Canada's going to become the magnet for economic migrants, because that's what I call them. I mean, refugees, there are a few that are in a hot war zone, but I don't understand bringing them to Canada. Like, usually you want to stay close to your home, you would think. So I think it's bullshit. It's just a plan to fill up Canada with more consumers and not really improve the country. It's if you own Loblaws or Shoppers or Bell or Rogers, or RBC or TD, it's always good to have a few million more customers. It doesn't hurt the bottom line. So that's the thing. But a lot of more people are becoming out of the race. I don't want to call it the racist closet. They're coming out of the racist. I want to say they're coming out of the race closet. And what I mean by that is they're coming out and saying, I'm not going to start apologize. I'm going to stop apologize. I'm not going to apologize for being white and for standing up for a white person, the rights of white people, and more people are saying that. And before you couldn't say that, you'd be a KKK or something. And basically, by saying that, you're saying, call me racist all you want, it's not going to work, basically. That's what I mean by coming out of the race closet. And I saw a few big accounts starting to kind of talk about this more openly. But, it's not like it's something people get up in the morning and say, yeah, let's talk about this. It's something thrust upon you, and you have to decide, do you want to deal with it now, or do you want to deal with it later when it's much more difficult? Okay. So let's look at Doug Ford. So basically he said, we're not going to issue the work permits, but we want the federal government to speed things up and get them working. Like, come on, man. Here's Doug Ford. Doug Ford expands on his desire to speed up work permits for tens of thousands of asylum seekers at taxpayer-funded hotels. If you have a pulse and you're healthy, you need to be working, he says. I was like, if you have a pulse and you're healthy, you need to go back to your own country and stop milking our money, because it's unsustainable to put all these people in hotels. So let's see what he says here.
The system's getting worse. As well, what we did communicate around the table and all the premiers.
And also, I'm not trying to be mean or like say things coming out of nowhere, but he seems all off. There's something off about him. Like, is he drunk? Has he been drinking? I know his brother got smashed on the job all the time, and he hit it somehow. But he's acting weird lately, and this whole thing with giving the work permits directly Ontario, I mean, maybe he's drinking or something. I don't know. Maybe he's getting that buck of beer. Let's listen to him.
As well, what we did communicate around the table and all the premiers agreed that we need more say into our immigration process, very, very similar to Quebec. We want to really focus on economic immigration.
See, this guy's been premier for 7 years. He was buddy-buddy with Justin Trudeau. He was buddy-buddy with Chrystia Freeland. Really buddy-buddy. Didn't say a word about this for 7 years. Now he's saying it. Why? Is it because you want to run for the leadership and you want to look like you want to solve problems? Whatever, man. This is ridiculous. Let's listen.
Along with my comments about work permitting, I don't want to take the responsibility off the federal government, but in saying that, if you have a pulse and you're healthy, you need to be working.
No,
you
you
come
need to
to
be
our country.
on the plane.
First, they have to go through the system. So I'll give you an example how the system's getting worse through the federal government, not better. You know, they say they issued 70,000 work permits. Well, we have 90,000 people coming in, and altogether there was about 139,000. David, do you have the numbers down?
It's crazy.
Better. I think across the country you're mentioning over 280,000 backlogged. I'm very concerned, which the Prime Minister never mentioned to me, about cutting off the funding
Little
in
baby.
literally a month in September for everyone in the hotels. I have quite a few asylum seekers in the hotel in our area and across, especially in Niagara and other areas. The federal government has to go in there and find out who's eligible. You know, the whole system has to have integrity. Who's eligible?
Dead
who's
eyes,
not.
man. What's going on with this
We're a
guy?
very
Dead eye.
country,
Dead
very
eye forward.
welcoming province, and we, you know, I've always said, people come here, they come here, and it's a privilege to be a Canadian. You go out there, you work hard, and you contribute to society, and you pay your taxes. What's very concerning to me is that we're spending $1 billion, and I've had a few phone calls about, oh, you're handing out, I'm not handing out work permits to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. It's just not happening. What we are doing is when we're spending $1 billion and it's taking 2 years, and people are sitting there, not because they don't want to work, because they don't have a work permit. So that's $1 billion there, and then the feds are adding another $1 billion on accommodations. And if they get rid of that, that's another $500 million, a burden that falls on the taxpayers of Ontario.
Yeah.
And I just go back to, again, if you're here, if you're healthy, you need to be working. You need to be contributing to society. You need to be contributing to the tax base. And what else is happening? A lot of these folks that are here, they want to work. We're paying them to sit around, which is
No, we're not paying them.
Then they're out there standing on certain
You're
corners
paying them
within the city, and contractors will come by, pick them up, and they're paying them cash under the table. So we're losing
We're losing
base
tax
on that.
money.
And these people have come here for a better life. And if they truly aren't asylum seekers, and they aren't being threatened in their own country, that's up to the federal government to make sure they're very clear. The people that aren't here based on that, they need to move forward and go back and then reapply through the immigration process.
Yeah, that's as close he'll say is of deport.
Can I have a plain burger?
That's the closest he'll talk about deporting. He says, "Oh, they have to if they don't get through their."
Yeah, sure.
You be.
Tap there when you're ready.
I can assure you, even if they don't ultimately are rejected, they're still here for years. But like I said, no talk about, oh, maybe we shouldn't land here in the first place. No. So this is Doug Ford. I don't know if he's drunk or something, because out of the blue he wants to issue these work permits, and now he's backtracking, saying, "Oh, I'm not going to do that." But he definitely wants. He doesn't care about Ontario because he was premier for 7 years, and he contributed to the problems that we're seeing right now. He accepted the hotels. He didn't say a word. The only reason he's saying stuff like this is because he wants to run for the Conservative leadership. That's the only reason. And he don't care about Ontario. All he cares about is himself. So that's why he's talking about him. And he put his foot in his mouth because nobody, the reaction to the Ontario work permit was really harsh. And I think, I don't know what to explain it. Like, was he drunk? and he keeps saying this, if you're a pulse, Canadians don't want that. They want them to leave. They don't want them to take their job, basically. If you have a pulse and you're healthy, you need to be working. All right. Next. Here, a lot of reaction, how they're fighting over each other to show how pro-immigration they are, the federal government and Ontario government. The feds are, this is Rupa Subramanya, the feds are pushing back on Ford's claim it takes 2 years for asylum seekers to get work rights, saying it's actually under 2 months. They're arguing over how fast they greenlight asylum claims while Canadians are fed up with mass immigration. Unreal. So basically, yeah, she's echoing my thoughts. Is the people are saying we don't want this, and on the other, and they're saying, oh, we're going to do this, but we're going to do it better and faster. Not just Liberals, Ontario Premier, even Pierre. Pierre said only a couple years to reduce it. All right. And then he's also spouting off on Trump, saying Canada should be prepared to match 50% tariffs on aluminum and steel. Yeah. So that's just going to make stuff more expensive for Canadians at a time when we're already screwed. Like, I don't know, this clown, man. What a clown. And then there's the story today, less than a week after declaring Ontario would be issuing our own work permits. Like, did he have too many drinks up at the cottage when he said that? After declaring Ontario would be issuing our own work permits for asylum seekers, Premier Doug Ford has reversed the plan and is instead asking for the federal government to speed up immigration processing times. Get them in faster. Wow. Like, whoever voted for Doug Ford and they think they're conservative and they want to, like, keep Ontario from becoming a third world shithole, maybe you should reconsider voting for Doug Ford. Like, I don't know what this 50% rating of his is all about. So yeah, he wants them to speed it up, just like Pierre. Pierre said the same thing. Oh, the government screwed up immigration. They need to do it more efficiently. People are waiting. Like, wow. More flights from Emirates are. Okay. So Doug Ford wants the federal government to speed up mass immigration to Ontario. Pretty crazy. Like, I don't know. I've said this for years that the guy's a traitor. He showed during COVID. Now he's showing this. He ain't for Ontario. He's for himself. He wants to get elected prime minister. So it looks like Ontario Premier, lately it looks like he's half in the bag when he's talking, or is it just me? So any of those functioning alcoholics out there want to chime in, go ahead. Regardless, even if he isn't drunk, Ontario is screwed with leaders like this globalist traitor running things. Like, look at him. This is I guess what he said before.
Any longer. We're issuing work permits in Ontario for these folks to give back and contribute to society.
This is what he said last week.
We want to work with the federal government. We don't want to take over the immigration system per se and take the burden on, which we're doing already, that we're spending over $1 billion.
So basically that's his...
We're issuing work permits.
That's his reversal. So I was like, was he drinking? Do you think, oh, I'm going to do work permits? Like, or is he just angling to make himself like a federal leader style, image? Probably the federal leaders thing. But this scumbag, the last thing Canada needs. I mean, Canada's already screwed, so having him as the prime minister would be, that's the time to get the bags packed and figure out a destination. I'm not saying Carney isn't good. Carney's horrible. But we need somebody to come in and fix things, not somebody who's going to come in and keep it going. And definitely Doug Ford is not going to fix nothing. Only his... only things for himself, of course. So There's Doug Ford today. He looks all whacked out on something. I don't know what's his deal. Maybe the pressure's getting into him. He looks all whacked out. He's got the spray tan going. He's got the hair dye. He's got the bleach blonde hair. Something's up there. Alright, so that's Doug Ford. That's Doug Ford. Alright, so the next thing I'll talk about is this kind of the kind of the mass immigration file, but also the coming out of the race closet, some posts. Oh, what is this? This is, oh, fuck. This is in Belgium. No, Sweden. Malmo, Sweden. I heard Malmo, Sweden's just a total no-go zone now. Like, was total, like, you'll get killed. And maybe this is why. Ooh. She's just cleaning it out. And look at all the people walking, the regular Swedish people. Like, oh, my God. And I can't see why Europeans have let this happen. Maybe it's just they actually believe in diversity. I don't know. Okay. Alright. And here's another Marty up north. And I don't know Marty. I know he's got a lot of followers. He's out from Alberta. He's got 137,000 followers. And he's always, especially in Alberta, he's known. But he put this post the other day, and it's coming out of the race closet. I'll admit that I've become racist in the last year. I'm sick and tired of all these immigrants from shithole countries invading us, and I'm letting them know at every opportunity. You're not welcome here. Most or all cultures are compatible. Not all cultures are compatible with each other. So he came out of the race closet. So basically he's saying he doesn't like the immigration policy. We couldn't say that for years. Couldn't say it. Now it's out of the race closet. And he's like, welcome to the party. Ferryman Toll, he's been out of the race closet for a while, that guy. And that's in response to this. Newcomers face rising racism in Alberta as province debates immigration policy. It's because they're taking over Alberta. That's why they're facing racism. You got the mayor of Calgary. You got the mayor of Edmonton. You got the the provincial NDP leader. You even got Danielle Smith pandering to him all the time. So, yeah, they're taking it over. So of course there's gonna have, and guys like Marty, and there's a few of him, are saying like, screw this. I don't agree with it. Call me racist if you want. That's the way it is. So here, while Canadians are suffering, and we're overwhelmed already with refugees, we're starting to market a marketing campaign to recruit LGBTQ refugees into Canada, and giving them money for a year to survive it. And it's like, this is the worst thing ever, because we have enough mental illness in this country that's not even addressed, really. Like, try to get any counseling sessions for anybody, very difficult, unless you have money. And this crowd is the kings and queens of counseling and therapy sessions and all sorts of medical issues. So, yeah, let's bring more into Canada. It's like, we got enough crazy here. We're all full. We don't need any. Here's a Dominion Society of Canada really trying to get off the ground. I'm sure the feds will be raiding them as calling them fascists. But they're out of the race closet too, so that means those words don't work on, what's that word? The meme. Oh, the Bane meme. Your words have no power here, or something like that. It's pretty funny. So mass immigration is the root cause of all of Canada's problems. Remigration is the solution. It really is. And the fact that they didn't talk about it, the politicians during the election and during the summit of the Federation, Council of the Federation. Um, the fact that they didn't talk about it is very telling. But yeah, it screwed up a lot of things like the college system, the health system, the housing system, the housing situation, the legal system, the criminal system. Just everything burden is overburdened when you get more people. It's just the way it works. More people means more stress on all your systems. Okay. This is proud to be Canadian. There's the old Canadian flag. Got to start pushing that. I like this one better, to be honest. Like, we were kind of indoctrinated to think the maple leaf was the official flag, but it was kind of chosen like out of the. It's not that. This is more traditional. I like it. I like it too. Here's another about the race closet. I think Canada is a powderkeg waiting to explode. It's the grimacing I see in public. I see those grimaces too. The looks given to obvious high jabs and turbans. The flash of anger when conversations aren't in English or French. The aversion to go to the malls or down by the lake or the water park. The fatigue is real. Like, you actually have to plan your trips. It's like, what are the chances I'm going to go to the third world here? So there's... And this kind of makes sense... kind of relates to what I said about coming out of the race closet, where more and more people are starting to, like, I don't care if they call me racist, I don't like the way this is turning out, you know? And especially if it happens to you. If it hasn't happened to you yet, and you don't like it, imagine if something happens to you, you won't like it even more. So... Also, we got an eye on Carney. Carney's doing the exact same on immigration. So, the economy, we'll see how he does. There's Tamara Litch and Greg. Greg's working on a documentary about free speech in Canada. I gratefully accepted his invitation to be a part of it. So, yeah, that'll be a good documentary. He's doing a lot of good stuff. Okay. So, yeah. Alright. Here's another one. Tom Marazzo coming out of the race closet. It's okay to be white. Wanting your heritage and culture to survive doesn't make you a racist, bigot, or supremacist. It makes you human. Every other ethnic group is encouraged, even celebrated for protecting their history, identity, and homeland. Why should it be any different for us? We're told that if we speak with pride, we're dangerous. If we want a future for our children, we're extreme. If we reject erasure, we're hateful. Don't fall for that lie. Preserving your culture and people isn't hate, it's love, and love for your own does not require hate for others. You are not what they call you. You're allowed to exist. You're allowed to care. You're allowed to fight for your future, and you are not alone. So, yeah, it's going to be more people coming out of the race closet and saying, yeah, you can call me all the names, you can call me racist, but I don't like it. Too bad. It's that racism's label's not going to work anymore. Here's Diagonal on Space Force. Foreign interference, illegal immigration, browns and blacks, shooting and stabbing everything, Indian gangs, politicians working for foreign interests, fentanyl crisis, the RCMP. And that's the RCMP, yes. I don't know if that's actual RCMP or if it's just people dressed up. But it might as well be the RCMP because they are kind of a joke. They go after the white nationalist fight clubs and whatever the hell they think. Meanwhile, we got so many criminal gangs roaming Canada, it's not even funny. Money laundering capital, fentanyl capital. Alright. Tamara Litch, why are Canadians sleeping in tents while the Canadian taxpayer pays for hotels for asylum seekers? Yes. We had in Sarnia here, we had a tent city in a place called Rainbow Park, and the city ended up spending over $1 million. Probably going to be close to 2 million after they have to basically redo the whole park. So they spent $1 million letting them stay there, putting toilets, like portable toilets, putting cleaning, security, lighting, all sorts of things. And they destroyed the park, kicked them out eventually. Now they have to redo the whole park. So instead of giving the asylum seekers, instead of letting them come here and claim asylum and clogging up our system, we could have put these guys up in hotels. At least get them out of the stupid park. But that's the country we live in. Okay. Yeah. $2 million of Sarnia money, and for and the problem, nothing got fixed. All it did was spend money. But yeah, let's put these guys in hotel rooms. We spent $2 million, and they still slept in the park. At least if you're gonna spend $2 million, they can put them in a shitty hotel room. Okay. Here's our next, some more mugshots. Deport report. Madani Johans, a high-risk offender who was recently highlighted by us, refused to appear for his bail hearing. So high-risk sex offender refuses to appeal. Man, I have 2 kids, and if this ever, oh man, like look at this guy. And then more and more coming to Sarnia. Like, I've never seen any of these people, and they just show up. So yeah, watch your kids. Holy shit, look at this guy. What the fuck? Like, he's out? Look at this guy. And like, what use are these people, people like this, to the country? Like, I can understand taking an immigrant with, like, who's a professor or he's a dentist, whatever, but this guy ain't no dentist. Oh, God. All right. And our last thing is, before we go, is the wild day at the Brampton Water Park. I don't even know. It's called Wet and Wild. It's in Brampton. And I have kids, and I'm always trying to keep them busy. And I've basically taken water parks off my list of things. I just won't do it anymore because it's like that, basically like that Cartman song on South Park about minorities at the water park. It's just true. It's not. It's like, you got the Indian guys who you can't, like, you don't know if they're gonna, like, grope the woman, grope the girls, or leer at them, or who knows. Then you got, now you got this little episode. Brampton, this woman is viciously attacked by a group with children looking on in horror. Like, I could have been there with my kids. Incident escalates further when another woman attempting to intervene is chased and assaulted. This is in Brampton. This is something you're used to seeing in the States. Oh, sorry, guys. Hold on. What did I do? Sorry. Let's try this again. Look at that. So this guy's beating on some woman, and the other people are, and then some white chick comes in and says, "Stop that!" And he's like, "What are you doing, bitch? Get away from me!" And he's going after her. Look at this. What the hell? This guy's on the ram. He wants to hit some more women. This guy. This punk ass mother. Oh, I never see any of this in person, man. I don't know. I probably wouldn't do it. I'd have my kids with me. I wouldn't be able to do anything. But if it come at me, oh man. Look at this shit. What the fuck? Anyway, you get the long lineups now. You got the potential gropers and perverts. Now you got this, and and basically cross water parks off my list in Canada. So yeah, not gonna do it. I remember we went to Niagara Falls water parks the last time I'd been there. It was like 5 years ago, almost 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know, but they had to get people out of the pool every half hour because someone took a shit in the pool or something. After that, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to come back. But it's just, I don't know. Like, I go to the trampoline parks because they don't. They don't. The trampoline parks are pretty. For some reason, you don't see a lot of Indians there or black people, so it's pretty boring, nice and smooth. But that's what I said. I said, oh, where does it go? Where'd it go? The water parks comment. Okay, so this is, I was saying, okay, about the Brampton. I was like, I stopped taking the kids to water parks because they have turned into third world shitholes. Either women are getting sexually assaulted or someone's getting beat up. Trampoline parks aren't bad yet, but give it time. And then it's like, someone said, as soon as I said that, they put a trampoline park video. And this is hilarious. It's like, who does this at a trampoline park, man? It's supposed to be the chillest. You take your kids, you let them play, you sit there on the Wi-Fi, you chill out on the couch. I don't understand how this could happen. This is probably somewhere in the States. My trampoline park is a good trampoline park. All right, so you get the picture. If that happens at my trampoline park, I'd be very upset. Oh. What the hell, man? There's kids around there. Wow. Wow. Who does this? You want to visit trampoline park with your kids, but they let... All right. You get the picture. And then, so I was like, this is my trampoline park. I go to Chatham. The Flying Squirrel in Chatham. See, look how beautiful that is. Beautiful. There's a nice climbing wall. So basically, it's nothing like that seen before. So far, I haven't had no problems going to trampoline parks. Water parks, can't do it. So that's it. Shows we can't even go to a water park. We can't even go to a water park in Ontario now. Thanks to our traitor leaders. Anyway, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Now that, basically all our leaders are retarded, so we're going to see how that works out. How that powder keg will blow. So until then, the next broadcast is tomorrow, Tuesday, July 29th at 9 o'clock. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. Until then, have a nice night. Thank you.